I'm at Te Henui Cemetery in New Plymouth in New Zealand, and it is absolutely mind-blowing. It's as thrilling as virtually any other garden you would visit, any garden you'd visit anywhere in the world, let alone a cemetery. And this cemetery has been closed in the sense that it has been full since the 1950s. There's been no new graves since then. And so what happens with a cemetery like that? Of course, it loses all energy and all commitment for any further maintenance. But then from the 1950s, it started to kind of go downhill. And somewhere in the 1980s, the council really took it seriously and did a replant of trees and did apparently a really beautiful job of filling it with really good trees. But again, it then went through this whole phase of dereliction. And then 14 years ago, this character, retired accountant, Susan Oliver, turned up on site, and so frustrated with the scale of her own little tiny garden here in New Plymouth, decided that she could perhaps start to garden a few of the plots here. She now has, 14 years later, a team of volunteers, hugely enthusiastic volunteers, who will give up something in the region of 20 hours a week each to be here. A team of 4 or 5 volunteers, and who have just loved this place back into incredible life and vivacity. So you've got a history of some good tree planting, but some ongoing very good tree planting with young and vibrant trees. There is a Stewartia here that is the best Stewartia I've ever seen in the world. Just the most perfect specimen. So there's some quite common trees, but some really quite rare and wonderful trees as well. But as we all know, trees alone, they go a long way. There's a lot of interest in trees, and they can set up the kind of three-dimensional structure of a garden, of a environment like this. But what really gives this place its sense of current love, that makes you feel like it's so nurtured, that actually exhales a sense of care and love and nurture, is all of the herbaceous stuff at ground level. And this is just brilliantly done. They don't take any care with colours, or that's not fair to say, that it's not supposed to be good taste planting. I actually find it quite tasteful, but it's not like they're being super careful about colours. She tells me some areas she wants to be pink at certain times of year and other within limited colour range. But mostly it's just a very, very happy mix. But Susan has really worked out, as a consequence of years of care, worked out which plants require the least, or give the most for the least amount of work. And they have to be thinking about this all the time. They have to be trying to avoid having to dig up great big fat juicy clumps of daylilies and all that kind of thing. That is going to be kilograms and kilograms of refuse to take away. So having spent maybe 12 years just filling the place full of really fun stuff, Susan's now becoming really quite discerning about the kind of things that are going to give the biggest bang for buck, and that aren't going to create huge biomass, and particularly huge root areas that require digging up and dividing and therefore disposal. But it's an amazing team, and just the most amazing result. You come in here and feel enormously inspired and enormously energized by the input of energy of this incredible team. So big shout out to the local council, who are a massive support now to this team, and a big shout to the team themselves for this astonishing effort. So whenever you are, if you ever come anywhere near New Plymouth, you must come to the Te Henui Cemetery.